Hello and welcome back to the channel. A few months ago we had mentioned that we've been working on a publication, especially for those who are in farming or homesteading, or even if you're looking to get into farming or gardening. Doesn't matter whether you're starting on a small scale or a large scale. This publication is something that we've actually been working on for years now. The thing is, when you're working on projects like this, and you're very busy, you can kind of put in a little bit of time here and there. But we felt the need to go ahead and get this thing done because...
Yeah, we really needed it.
Yes, absolutely. We needed it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hold the book up. It's finally finished. Toda, yeah.
I'm going to read what the title says here for the book. It's Small Farm Safety, Organization, Scheduling, and Project Management.
Now, this is your guide to small farm and agro success. It's 678 pages. The reason why it's 678 pages is because there are a lot of forms inside and scheduling and project management type things. And we're going to get into that in a moment. But we're going to cover some of the aspects that are covered in the book.
Yes. And one thing I want to say this real briefly here, too. Because we've been doing this thing for a long time, we've been in the farm and just doing this thing a while. We've been into farming, and let me tell you, if you're just doing crops, vegetables, you just got a garden. It's easy to manage that. But when you start branching off into livestock, chickens, quail, and then you branch off into sheep and goats, and then don't mess around, and you need tractors, and you need tools, and you need all these things. You're going to need to organize all of that. You're going to need to keep track of that. And what if you need to build a barn? What if you need to build some type of shelter for the goats or for the chickens, right? A chicken coop. You're going to need to organize all this stuff, and it can really get to be a little overwhelming. Exactly.
Yes.
So that's why we came up with this book.
This is actually going to help us, and so I know any of you who are doing farming, whether it's on a small or a large scale, gardening even, there are things in this book that can help you regardless to how big or small your operation is.
That's right.
We're going to go over some of the contents of the book in just a moment, but I wanted to just briefly touch on why we have all of the different forms, because there are certain things, and I'm just going to give one quick example before we go over the various contents. For instance, if you live on a farm in a rural area, many times you are not connected to the sewage system, and you may have a septic tank, right?
Yes.
And so you have to keep track of various things dealing with the septic tank. When was the last time it was emptied? What companies you use to clean it out, and just various things like that.
You may need to put in a certain type of chemical. They got these what they call them septic shock. Red X and things like that. And you need to keep a log of when you put the last one in the tank. You just can't, I guess I'll throw some in there today. You got to log that. You're supposed to do it like once a month, or some of them you do every 2 months.
Depending on how big your family is and things. So there's a lot of things to consider. So we're going to go over some of the various things that are covered in this publication.
Yes. Now, one thing I want to say is the first part of this book is a lot of information dealing with farming, okay? And farm safety, I'm telling you, just from running a farm.
Just from experience.
From experience, that's right. I'm telling you, you got to have some understanding about keeping things safe as it relates to equipment, running tractors. Think about it. If you have children and your children are outside, if you got other animals that may be free, right? And you're running a big tractor, you don't want to run nothing over, right? So there's different safety things that you got to pay attention to while you're on a farm, because you have motorized farm equipment, you have electrical farm equipment, right? And you get manual farm equipment. And these things you have to keep out of the way. Like, for instance, rakes. You use rakes on a farm, right? Well, you don't want to leave a rake down with the forks ends up and somebody come along and step on it, right? Or a person walking through the field trips on it. So these things you have to have a farm safety guide, and that's what's in this book.
Yes, we have farm equipment safety, farm tool safety,
Yes.
farm animal safety,
Yes.
child safety,
Yes.
septic tank safety.
Yes.
The reason why I say septic tank, because there is a kind of like a manhole cover, but it's not made of
Yes.
metal. Ours is made of concrete. You want to make sure that thing is properly affixed over that hole so that no one falls down into the septic tank.
That's right.
Well safety,
Yes.
farm land safety.
Let me explain that farm land safety real quick. Okay, now watch this. Okay, now we have chickens and we have other animals, right? And there could be coyotes or
Yes.
coy wolves out there, right? So we have to make sure that the land is properly set up with fencing and everything that we need to keep these predators out of the off of the farm. And there are other small predators, like you get raccoons,
Yes.
right, and possums, and so you have to buy little small cages, traps to catch these animals, so you can get them off of your farm, keep them off your farm.
One thing I wanted to mention too,
Yes.
this, talking about farm safety, make sure that your animal enclosures are properly secured.
Yes.
We just recently built a new enclosure for
Yes.
our quail. Okay, we
Yes.
needed a larger enclosure because they need space to move around.
Yes.
So what ended up happening is in the transport of these quail, some of them got away, and so you don't always catch them right away, but eventually they'll surface, and
Yes.
you're trying to catch them after they've gotten tired and they go near their enclosure trying to get in.
Yes.
But what ended up happening is we saw a couple that were straggling around, and Sophia was trying to catch him. He still had a little bit of flight left in him,
Yeah.
and she witnessed this.
Listen.
This was a trip. I wish we had the camera rolling. It's pretty sad, but still. As the quail was trying to get away from being caught, she was using the net to try to catch him. A hawk came down right in front of her.
Falcon is a falcon. Yeah. Mhm.
Came down right in front of her, grabbed our quail, and flew on off into
flew
the
him off.
sunset.
Yeah.
And I said, that poor baby, he's about to be lunch for
Yeah.
that falcon. You
Yeah.
see? And so
Yeah.
those are some of the things that you
Yes.
witness on a farm.
Yes. Another time the door wasn't quite closed all the way, and a possum ended up getting in there. I ended up netting him up and getting him out before he did any damage, But those are the things you got to
Yes.
be careful. Guess what else like quail? Snakes. A snake will get in there and will swallow a whole quail. Do you hear
Yes,
me?
yes.
Yeah. So
We've actually seen that
Yeah.
happen with one of our pigeons, was
yeah,
it?
it's a baby pigeon.
Yeah, it got in there, and you can see the lump in the snake's belly.
Yeah.
And we had to capture the snake and get him out of here, you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
Anyway, we're going to continue on. Just a number of different topics are covered in this book. One of the first sections, after you get past all of the farm safety stuff, it talks about what are annual, perennial, and biennial crops
Yes.
and plants. You see,
Yes.
raised beds, grow bags, trellises. It gives you information about all of those. Soil care, irrigation, grow tunnels,
Yes.
crop rotation, succession planting, growing herbs in containers. I mean, these are the things that it's talking about. It's making compost tea, cloning plants. Okay, organic weed control.
Let me show them that page. Organic weed control. If you look at it here, it gives you a good list of organic weed things that you can use to control weeds. And this is the kind of information that's in this book.
Having a root cellar.
Yes.
If you don't have one, it's a good idea to do some research. There are plans on how to make a root cellar. They even suggest using the northern corner of your basement if you don't have any other place. And they tell you there are plans online that show you how to build it to make that a cool corner and to be able to keep rodents out and everything. You can make your root cellar outside as well.
Yes.
So these are important things that we talk about in the book here. Greenhouse care, barn care, storage buildings, you see.
Yes.
Animal nurseries, pond care, raising livestock. I mean, it's just so much in here. Hydroponics, aquaponics, grow tents. These are alternative
making honey,
alternative places to grow.
Yes.
If you are limited on space.
Yes, absolutely.
Even incubators.
That's right. Yes. And incubators are awesome.
Yes, they are.
They are awesome. I'm telling you, that you get yourself a really good incubator and you have chickens. Them chickens lay those eggs. You can take those eggs, put them in that incubator, and I'm telling you, you'd be surprised how many baby chickens you have just by putting them in that incubator if you have a good one. Yeah.
Not just the chickens. We've been hatching our own quail eggs.
Yeah.
Our own duck eggs. Some of you, whenever I get a chance, I do videos of what's going on the farm. I haven't been doing as many as I would like. Yeah. But if you notice, our duck population has kind of grown quite a bit. Okay?
Yeah.
Reason is, whenever we get their eggs, and it's kind of sad, but sometimes the mommy duck will find a little space and she'll have a pile of eggs. And she's just taking care of it. And then you discover that she has this little nook and corner that she's picked out for herself.
Yeah. And
she's sitting on her eggs, and then you come there and you see her, and she looks up at you like this, and I say, I'm not gonna hurt. I'm not gonna hurt. I talk to them like that because I love them, you know. And I'm letting her know, I'm not gonna hurt you, baby. I see you taking care of your eggs. But sometimes when they go away, one time what we did was we took only half of the eggs. Mm-hmm. And I mean, no, we had took all of the eggs, and she came back. She was looking. She had to look like, "Where's my eggs? What happened with you?"
And the geese. When we had the geese, now geese are like watchdogs. I'm telling you. I mean, anything come near your property, near the other livestock, they'll sound off. They make all kinds of noise. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you something. One day, when the geese was gone, we took all of her eggs, right? And I'm not kidding you. Mm-hmm. When I went back over there the next day, this goose followed me around and kept quacking at me and making all this noise at me and
she was screaming like crazy,
fussing at me like crazy. And I knew she was getting me, but I want my eggs back. Bring me back my eggs. And so she just kept on fussing till I found I said, you know what? I said, she's fussing right at me. I know she's talking to me.
Yeah.
I mean, she just kept coming at me and so I said, okay. I said, go get them geese eggs and bring them back.
What we did was we gave her half of them, and we put half of them in the incubator.
Yes, and we gave her half of them, and we let her sit on her eggs, you know. And so we just had to.
They are so motherly, the ducks, and even the one of the guineas. We didn't even know where her stash was.
Yeah.
She had found a picnic table that was over over in an area that we hardly go into.
Yeah, and we had it covered with a tarp or something because we were using it for something.
And so she had this guinea had like 13 eggs, and we didn't know. She hatched every last one of her babies by herself. She was like, I don't need y'all help. We've been doing this since before whatever. Yeah. And so she hatched all of her babies by herself, and I thought that was so sweet. But anyway, we talk about a lot of stuff in this book. I'm sorry we kind of got derailed on our conversation talking about our animals because I call them my animal babies. But anyway, I'm not going to go through everything in the table of contents because there's so much here.
Yes.
But I would like for Watchman to perhaps talk about the septic tank treatment schedule.
Yeah. The septic tank treatment schedule, like we said before, there are these solutions that you have to put into your septic tank. And for instance, one of them is Rid-X, another one is septic shock. And so these treatments require that you put them in once a month, the septic Rid-X. Okay. And so you have to have somewhere that you're marking it down where on this date of this month, I put in the septic treatment and the septic shock or whatever, and this helps keep it give you a log of it, right? Mm-hmm. And so and this will keep you on your toes as far as knowing what's going on with the septic tank, because the last thing you want is a septic tank to back up and you're like, oh man, it's backing up, what's going on? So you want to definitely be able to log that. These
are the logs, and we have a 12-month. It's a monthly tracker actually.
Yes.
And it's a 12-month tracker. So this, whatever day or whatever quarter or whatever, we have it set up to however you do yours.
Yeah.
You can do it by quarter. You can do it by month.
Yes.
Okay. You can do it whatever day of the month that you do it on.
Yes.
This is a way to log it all. And so each different type of graph or chart we have in here have several different pages because it's going to, for instance, here's a good example. the planting area map graph sheet that allows you to have different planting zones that you can keep better track of. For instance, you might have, let's just deal with a smaller backyard area. You can do like a plan of how your bins are set up or how your areas are set up and say, well, I have this planted here in this bin or this raised bed or this row and so on and so on.
Right.
And if you draw it out, you can kind of get an idea yourself, or this will actually help you to plan your garden better. In region 1 or zone 1, however you want to label it,
right.
You could say in zone 1 I have cabbage, zone 2 I have this, zone
That's
3
right.
I have that. And so all of these different graphs and charts and schedules and things that we have in here is in here to help us stay organized. I know we need it because we have various zones, literally, where we're planting certain things. As a matter of fact, Yah willing, next growing season, we're going to be switching a lot of things around. So this kind of helps you stay on track.
One thing I want to show you here is this egg incubation incubator schedule. Okay, and if you see it here, okay, I don't know if you can see that, but this is how it looks. Okay, and it's a graph that what it is what happens is when you get these eggs, you have to mark the date that you put these eggs in the incubator. And you use these eggs, you gotta put the certain eggs on a certain shelf. So this will that gives you the date. You put your date in here, right? The number of eggs you put in the incubator on that day, and once they hatch, the number of hatchings that you get from those particular eggs, because you only get so much time before those eggs will start to, if they don't hatch, you have to, there are things you have to know about these eggs too. Like our children, they'll look at them under a light to see if the birds are still alive or if the bird had died in the egg. And so these things you got to know. And so that's what helped. For instance,
we have
quail.
We have all of the different bird species here.
Yeah, for quail, it shows you here that quail needs 22 days and to hatch pretty much. And so if you get to 30 days and they haven't hatched yet, you know, okay, I can take these eggs out of the incubator, they're not going to hatch. Okay. And this will help keep you from, you don't want an incubator full of eggs that don't hatch because it will begin to smell. So this is why you got to stay on top of this this schedule for your eggs. And another good one I want to bring out.
Before you move on to something else, I wanted to show that for the quail, it shows the different breeds.
Right.
Various breeds have different incubation periods.
Yes.
And so it'll show you the incubation period for the type of quail that you have.
Yes.
The Benson quail are 22 days. The blue scaled are 23 days. The Bob White are 22 to 23 days.
Right.
Button is 16 days, and so on and so on. I don't have to read all of the breeds.
Right.
The same with turkeys and other birds and bird species. It shows you the
right.
amount of time that is needed in the incubation. In the incubator, and the days that you can actually stop turning the eggs. Okay.
Yes.
So that's on here. So when and I'm going to just show you that page real quick.
Yes.
But when you are actually raising a particular type of bird, you have that information there, and then you have the tracker here of when you have put those birds in there, so you know when it's time to do something. And again, like Watchman said, if an egg has been in there past the time, get it out of there.
Get it out of there. Yeah, exactly. Now, one thing that I really love about this book, okay, I do a lot of the building around here, right? And I want to tell you, sometimes I may be working on more than one project. I may have to do it, like I got to do a deck for my shop, okay? And on top of doing a deck for the shop, we still got to we got to do a different enclosure for the chickens. And so I may be working on that, and I also have an outhouse that I'm working on. And I'm going to tell you right now, this stuff can get kind of confusing. And so to have this building project details page is incredible. If you could show that. The building project details page. It's 259. Yeah, and you see this page now. There are a lot of these in here, so don't. It's
not just from one.
Right.
It's a whole bunch of different.
A whole
pages.
bunch of them, right? So you could write in this book, and so I could put in here the particular project that I'm working on, the materials needed for it, the tools needed for it, and what exactly this project is and how long it's going to take. I could do it all on this page here. Now, let's say I got a date that I get started on this page. Well, what I could do is in the back of the book where there's a daily log, at the bottom here I could put in, okay, building project, deck for shop. Okay, I could write that in here, and then I could write the page number that the actual project is on with its details. And so this helps keep me organized with these things that I'm doing on the property here. You see?
Yes. And see, the daily log, like Watchman mentioned, he can log what he's working on. But for that daily log, we have some things that are already penciled in, or should I say, in the book. If you have a farm that has animals, you deal with their feeding, watering, and wellness checks. Okay, so on the log, you can talk about what you did. Okay, for instance, if you needed to give them maybe some diatomaceous earth or some of their medications or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You can log that here that you did it this date,
that's
right? Land maintenance and upkeep. What do we have to do today? Do we have to clean up leaves today? Is this grass cutting day? What day is this? Or if you have a lot of land and you don't typically cut it all in one day, you can say, well, we cut region 1 or region 2, whatever. Plant care, watering, planting, feeding, and de-weeding. Is this what we're going to do today? You log that there, right? We also have a fertilizing schedule that's separate from this, because especially if you're dealing with a lot of space, you want to keep track of when you fertilize, because you can't over fertilize, and then you don't want to under fertilize. That's if you are not utilizing compost, right? We want to get to the point where we don't even have to deal with fertilizer, in all honesty. But we are also working on making our own compost. We do that, but we want to do it on a larger scale, so we won't even need fertilizer. But some people are going to use that, and we use organic fertilizer when we do use it. But for those who use fertilizer, whether it's organic or not, there's a schedule in here to show you what to do. Also on the daily log, business operations, appointments, and scheduling. Like sometimes we'll have service workers come and do certain things. You want to log that on your daily log. And then,
like the time we had the tree service come, and they had to cut some branches that were hanging, and we didn't want these branches to fall on anyone. So then miscellaneous. This is where you can log, like if you're going to be working on a certain building project, like Watchman said, and then additional notes at the bottom. So we try to cover every base here, every base. One thing I like about this book too is the information it has in it that deals with herbs and plants. This good for your body, and I'm telling you, it's incredible. There's a page here that says 50 natural herbs and plants for healthier hair, right? And there's another one on another page that says 11 herbs that help manage fevers. And so this is very important. Herbs to help you with low blood pressure, herbs to help you with high blood pressure. And so it's in here, and it is really incredible to see these things. And some of these things I've tried myself, and they really do work.
There's a whole section on just herbs. As a matter of fact, some of you may have already had our AHA Herbs book that we published many years ago. We decided to include that in this publication because it is perfect. We have a whole section that's designated to growing herbs here on the farm. So it made sense for us to put that in, include that in this publication as well. And so we even have a seed catalog section.
Oh, awesome!
Seed catalog section because seed management is another thing. So there's a lot in this book. If I remember, I can actually provide a PDF for the table of contents for those of you who are interested in getting this book. You can see what's going to be included in the book. If I remember. If I don't remember, if someone can nudge me in the comment section perhaps, then I can put the PDF link so that you can go to it and see what the book has enclosed or what's included in the book, because there is so much here, too much for us to name. We didn't want to be that long in this video here, but we just wanted you all to know that the book is finally done. Okay, there's a whole lot here. Whether you are starting on a small or a large scale, this small farm safety organization scheduling and project management book, 678 pages, is going to help you to do what you need to do a lot better, more efficiently, and I know it's going to help us. Okay, there's so many different things that we talk about. We're like, well, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this and do that. This is going to help us to remember things. And so livestock deworming and health check schedule, all of that stuff is very important, because with goats and sheep, they can very easily get worms and die on you. You see, so you gotta know what to do. Have a schedule of doing it. What we learned from one farmer is that they put diatomaceous earth in their meals just about every day or every other day to help prevent worms in the first place. But you still want to do their regular worming as well, so that you're not losing your livestock.
And the one thing about it with this guide here, you can mark the date that you give them any type of worm treatment, because you can't overdose the animals.
That's right. That's right.
So that helps too. And then there, you got to get their weight. You know what I mean? You got to know which ones you gave this medicine to, and so this helps keep all of those things logged.
So, hallelujah. We are just grateful that we are finally done with this. Like I said, years ago, before we moved from our previous location, we have been talking about doing this. We actually plugged in a little bit of time on it, but then we just kind of fell back from it, because when you have a lot of different products, this is why this book is important, because when you have so many different things that you have to think about, a lot of stuff can get lost in the sauce. It
can get overwhelming.
Yes,
I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Farm life can be overwhelming. So when you go into this farm life doing these things, you better have something that's going to keep you organized, because I'm going to tell you right now, it can get overwhelming. Okay?
Yes, it can.
This book, I'm going to tell you something. I have to have something to do it list and things that I could look at to keep me organized, because I do a whole lot.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And so my wife, she does a whole lot. And it's just a lot that we're doing on a regular basis. And so I got to have something that I can go back and look at, because a week could go by and be like, oh man, I forgot all about that. I was working on this over here. I better get back over here to this, because I'm all over, but I got so much that we're doing, right? It's a lot that we're doing. So
absolutely.
And I just want to encourage you all that are trying to do a small farm,
or a small garden,
or anything,
or a large farm.
That's right. You want to get this book, because this book is definitely going to help you. It's going to give you a lot of good information, and it's going to help you stay organized.
The reason why we made it hardcover is because this is something you're probably going to put your hands on a daily basis, especially if you have a larger operation. And
you're writing in it too, so you got to have it. You
needed to do this, because I know for us, paperback will get ripped and torn.
Yes.
Because everyone who has anything to do on the farm, our whole family, whatever your task is, you're going to have to come and log in this book.
Yes.
This keeps it keeps everybody in check, because then we'll say, okay, such and such did this today, such and such did that today.
Yes.
This keeps us all in check. Okay. Yes. And this will keep us all organized. And so that's why we created this book. We hope that those of you who are even thinking about getting into farming or gardening or having a homestead or anything, support this project. Okay. Yes. We put a lot of time and effort and love into this. And so we would greatly appreciate the support. Not only that, it's going to be a great help to you and what you are trying to do, because again, this is a small farm safety, organization, scheduling, and project management tool. Okay. So I could even see other uses for this, even if you're not necessarily into farming. But if this is something you're looking to getting into, even if you have an organization that you work with, this is a great publication.
Yes, it is.
And so I think we are done. Thank you all for tuning in. We didn't mean to be this long. Oh my goodness. But anyway, if you're interested in purchasing this book, we will leave the link in the description area. Okay? And I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Okay? Until next time, see you later.